The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any affiliated organizations, employers, or sponsors. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.
Hello. Okay, guys, we have a full house here. I'll pass it over to Rishi because this is more your domain. Rishi, tell us what we have in store today.
Yeah, today is a fun gaming podcast. We're talking about literally an entire range of gaming, and it's a big range. And of course, let me let Rajat do the introductions for our full house deck.
Yeah, so we have people who have been on the podcast before. We have Haider and Nathan. I don't know which episodes they were in, but Haider was about anime, Nathan was about space, and then we have a new member on, Mr. Ryan. Actually, Ryan, this is your first time. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm honored to be part of the team. Yeah? But
Team.
although I'm dishonored because how can you call Haider for anime? Of all people,
That's
of all
ridiculous, bro.
people, this guy is a hunter, ex-hunter fan over here. Please.
Hunter, no, I'm not actually. You got that wrong. Anyway,
Yes.
Great. Okay, now that that's sorted, I think you guys can have your own podcast on the side about
Of
the
course.
discussion.
Of course.
Okay, yes, but as you said, we're going to talk about gaming. Actually, let's start with the easier one. What games are you guys playing at the moment? Let's go here first.
me first. Oh, okay. So we're playing Marvel Rivals. That's the main game we're playing at the moment. Um, we used to play Age of Empires, and these guys played Fortnite. I never got on that bandwagon. But Marvel Rivals, let's talk about that. That's like a 6v6 hero shooter, essentially. So you're like the six teams of six, the two teams, and you can choose a Marvel hero. So any Marvel fans out there, you know who I'm talking about. You can choose Loki, Captain America, Iron Man, stuff like that. Each hero has their own unique abilities, and as a team, you need to meet the objective and win the game.
Who's your chosen hero, Hida?
Black Panther's my favorite right now.
Yeah, Marvel Rivals is quite a good game in terms of like it's quite popular and it's quite wide range in terms of reach because everyone knows their characters and it's quite easy to get into. Um, like the characters have their own flavors and stuff. So like Iron Man or Spider Man or Black Panther are very unique in terms of how they play and quite relevant to the I guess their characters like and their abilities. It's quite specific and you can actually it feels like you're playing the characters rather than just generic I'm just a shooter, an attacker, or a defender, or kind of like that. Yeah, I mainly play Spider Man to annoy healers. It's quite fun. Hater can agree as Black Panther. Um, yeah,
Is it like a story, or is it just you play like multiplayer?
it's mainly multiplayer. There is like an underlying story to it where it's a multiverse. If you know about Marvel multiverses, it's one of the spin offs where Doom is fighting Doom and there's multiple multiverses. So there's like an underlying story which sets everything up, and then everyone is fighting each other in these two multiverses. Um, yeah, there are like new comics coming out about it, which is quite cool. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it's very strategic. Requires a lot of coordination with your team. It's very fun to just jump on and play with your friends. So a way to like just socialize, catch up with them, relax, and it's also quite competitive. So
that's where the relaxing stops,
yeah,
and the competitive comes up.
but even when you're being competitive, really, if you don't really need to care about that, but yeah,
I mean, is that really being competitive though? If you don't really care about it?
no, because you can enjoy something, and at the back of your mind, you're like, oh, there's nothing really to lose here, So it's fun and competitive, It's I find it quite relaxing and competitive at the
I
same
think
time.
Nathan disagrees.
it depends on
Nathan's
the
very
team.
different. Nathan's very different from me. He started yelling at people. I
It depends on the
usually
team.
don't.
If the team
Yeah.
is not like playing well, it's like okay, I need to like focus up and be a bit more serious rather than enjoy. Like it's enjoying to be serious and competitive because winning a competitive game like that feels really good.
That's true.
Losing, however, like you shouldn't usually blame teammates, but I do. Uh,
I do sometimes too. Sometimes.
But let me tell you guys, because Ryan also plays with us. I play with you guys as well. But I know ask Ryan, is what they're saying true? First of all, I see you nodding your head
These
clearly over there.
liars, these liars.
hey,
First of all, you picked the two characters in okay, Marvel Rivals has set categories. So there are people who heal, there are people who are tanks who are on the front line, and then there are people who go to the side and then they attack from behind. These two are the people who go from behind. So these guys, they don't know the stress that me and Rishi go through
That is
with the
not true,
wait,
fighting.
hold,
Ryan. I
hold
play
on.
healers so
These
much.
two,
We also
these
play healer
two,
as well.
these two,
It's
this.
not true, Ryan.
We go
Oh,
and kill
sorry.
the
Sorry.
enemy
One second.
healers so
No,
that you don't
no,
have to
no, no.
stress about it.
But but
Uh,
but let me let, so I think that sums up like our current introduction, I think, into gaming, because that's where we are at, because we're all a friends group and that's what all of us play right now. But let's rewind it. Let's rewind it
hmm.
all the way back. I'm curious on from all three of
Sorry,
your
Rishi, just
perspectives.
before you go to that point, I just want to come back to what
Yeah.
Ryan said. Ryan basically called Nathan and Haider cowards for 5 minutes.
No,
That's
no.
basically what he did.
First of all, we're playing the hardest characters in the game. Okay, that requires the most
Who
mechanical
asked you
skill.
to ask?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Also, Ryan, we play healers, bruv.
and we
Like
play.
I'm a
We're
really good
healers.
Okay, okay,
healer.
okay. That's true.
He
That's true.
plays
Okay,
Loki.
fine,
That's the
fine,
hardest
fine,
healer to
fine.
play.
Yeah, that's not
I
a
play
healer,
Raccoon. He's the easiest
bro.
healer.
End of the day, are we having fun and are we making progress? It's
Exactly.
all that
But you see,
counts.
that's the
Yeah.
point with the whole situation. It's like it's a fun thing. It's a whole dynamic where we figure out like different situations where we can have fun. It's not just for Marvel Rivals. Even when you think about Fortnite, when you think about uh,
Like we played Warzone before that.
Warhammer, there is always a different role that we have in the game, but it's always good as a group to
Yeah,
to
that's
Yeah,
good.
like find
true.
our role. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Rajat, that sums up
Nice,
the
nice.
question.
In
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like
yeah.
so like in Warzone, we used to have also kind of that same dynamic. Rishi used to go full on this bombastic RPG plus LMG, which is just constant barrage and
Juggernaut
mayhem
class.
and chaos. And then there's me with like snipers and like trying to be more strategic. And then there's Haider with a riot shield because he
I used to
likes
heal and
strategy.
stuff. Yeah, I used
No,
to.
Warzone. So in
Yeah,
Warzone used to be like this healer, not healer, like a basically a riot shield tank
Uh,
guy.
yeah,
but
just
Nathan,
stand in front. Yeah.
let us since you started on a different game on that note, let's actually now what I was saying earlier. Let's rewind it all the way back. Give us a
Hmm.
bit of a breakdown from each of your perspectives. You can start. What got you into gaming and the games you played over time. And as we've all mentioned, what we're playing right now, we've said. So just run us through that a bit.
Okay, should I start?
Yes.
Okay, so I was I was pretty much gaming since like when I was a tiny kid. It was mainly because of Yannick and Johan. They used to have a PS2. I used to go to over
We're
to their
gaming from the
place
womb.
from the womb. Yeah, like I don't know what that means, but okay. And then so when I was a kid, I going to Yannick and Johan's place constantly. My cousins. Um, and they used to have a PS2, and I used to play constantly with them. And then later on, I got a PS3 and an Xbox, and I used to play on that constantly. Just random single player games and sometimes Call of Duty with some of my friends from school back in Bahrain. Yeah, and then it kind of continued like that into uni. And then I met these guys and started playing like multiplayer games like uh, Age of Empires or Call of Duty or Fortnite, and then just continued, and then Civilization and loads of other games. But I usually play like single player games a lot. I want just to de-stress like Elden Ring or Uncharted or The Witcher, God of War, etc. So it's yeah, it's like my little hobby. I do.
So as you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, Nathan's wallet is heavily immersed into the gaming sector.
Yeah,
Nathan,
lots
why
that
did you get
happened.
an
Best
Xbox when you
thing.
had a PlayStation?
At the time, an Xbox 360 was better than a PS3. The PS3
Okay.
had some niche good games.
Best thing about Nathan's wallet is that I tap into it every week.
Yeah, that's the thing about
Eh?
PS. Like, you can share it with friends, and I'm the source of
Hey.
sharing without any
Uh,
no charges applied.
oh wow.
Okay. All right. So I think okay, let's go to Ryan then. You can run us through, what got you into gaming
For
and the
me,
journey through.
the crazy thing about gaming, every single PS I've had. So I started from PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, all of them. And I've never had any other device. And when you think about gaming, uh, when it started off, it was just like a, it was just like a hobby you do on the side. It wasn't like something that you can devote to. It was. I remember playing games like Pepsi Man, and it
Pepsi.
was Pepsi Man. Yes, Pepsi Man in PS1, and then
Okay.
we didn't even have a memory card at that time, so we would reach a certain level, we die, and then we'll start from here ever from Mimi. It was just something you played on the side. It was a fun one, and over the years, it's become more cinematic. It's become like an experience now. It's now you can say like a lot more about gaming. It's much more mainstream. It's not just a small select of people. Like everyone games. Even if you're like my mom who was playing Candy Crush, that's gaming technically. So everyone
And
games at
actually
this
on that
point.
on that note, Candy Crush is like you get emperor class mothers in Candy Crush.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god, what is that?
Ranked
What
ranked
is
moms
that?
playing Candy Crush.
But that's
Yeah. To be fair, though, it is
what? Yeah.
gaming is the biggest industry, like the most powerful entertainment industry since COVID. Um, it's one of the largest in the world actually. So like GTA 6, for example, it takes more money to build to develop GTA 6 than build the Burj Khalifa. Yeah, graphics have come a long way from just polygons and pixels to like super realistic. You feel super immersed in them. Yeah, and that's why people are drawn into it. It's like a escape from reality, and then it's like kind of mirroring reality with this like amazing graphics.
Yeah, on that,
Um,
I do advise people to check out the YouTube videos of like how gaming has changed from 1970s or around that time
yeah,
till today. You see how exactly what Nathan has said, but yeah, Ryan, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Even there's when you think about gaming, it's very diverse. It's not just like Marvel Rivals, just us playing PS games. There's so many forms of gaming. Even when I think about it, when I was like, what, 12 years old, there was this thing. Do you guys remember Second Life?
No.
You don't remember Second Life? Okay, it was Nini. It was like I wouldn't say it's a game, but you could create a character. It was like Sims. You create a character, you go into a Nini, you have your own house, you build your own character, all that stuff. It was at the point where we were still using modems and all that stuff. So we didn't Wi-Fi wasn't like prevalent out there. Gaming has evolved, and I think it'll still keep evolving. So yeah, I'm curious to see where it reaches, which I think it'll be AR maybe. Who knows? But yeah,
Okay, okay, interesting. And yeah, Hader, you can give
that's it
us
for me.
your side.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So gaming also has a storytelling aspect to it, which is quite incredible actually. Like similar to animation, actually, it's like you can put in a really good story into a game, and you can not only immerse yourself in the gameplay but the story as well, the characters, the whole plot. Uh, there's a lot to learn there. especially as a young teenager when you don't really know much about the world. Like a story, a well-developed world will maybe teach you a lot, lessons, morals, things like that. Uh, yeah, so there's that too. So how I got, so I started gaming when I was like 3 or 4. No, not that young, five or six. So it
Jesus.
was through like I was very young. No, actually, it wasn't that young. I was 8. Yeah. So
It's
why
like
is
a
that funny?
4 year
No,
gap.
no. Yeah, no, yeah. What the
I
heck?
started
Man
gaming when I
started
was
from 3
8
years old.
because I had to think about it. I had to think about when I actually started gaming. And so it was through one of my friends. He was really into it. Like he had all the PS1,
Was
PS2,
his friend Nathan?
Game Boy. No, it was another friend of mine. So I used to like we were very close growing up. I used to go to his house every weekend, and we used to play games. Like before, back then there was no like Wi-Fi or like connect to the internet. It was like split screen. We used to get games where you could cooperate and beat the objective. We used to love those kind of games. Then not only that, we used to like it so much. We used to play the single player games together. So one death each. Oh, okay. You try now. I'll try. We used to play on the hardest difficulty because we were both very like into that. So games like Final Fantasy, uh, what else? Like we used to play Crash Bash. We used to play Pokemon.
Nice.
Pokemon was a big one. Um, yeah, so a lot of single player games where like one death each. Okay, now you give it a go. Uh, and yeah, so even back then, some of the games like Final Fantasy, they had such good characters, such good stories embedded into them, and it was so like intriguing, especially as a young boy. Uh, Yeah, and then eventually I got my own console after like my dad was like, if you get grades, I'll buy you the console. I was like, okay, fine. Then I managed to
Asian
get the
parents.
grades. Yeah, honestly, I managed to get the grades, and he got me a PS2. Oh my god! After that, I just never got the grades again. Basically, no, I got my grades were never like they were good, up and down, but the games probably didn't help. Um, yeah, so that's kind of my origin story. So yeah, PS2, PS3, uh, Xbox, I pretty much had them all.
Can I ask one question from us, actually? Which game, like, if you go through each generation, like PS1, PS2, which game made an impact to you guys?
That's a good question.
Oh, let me start. Let me start from me. For me, PS1 was a game called Gunslinger. It was
It's like,
those games where it was like an arcade game where you like you have no control of the person, but you shoot the different targets, and then they take you to a next scenario. Then you shoot the other targets, something like that.
was
Then
it
for
Call of
me,
Juarez, Gunslinger?
no, not Call of. I know Call of Horrors. That
Okay.
was a good game actually, but it was weird because they take you from 3D to one, like you're looking straight. But yeah,
Yeah.
but that wasn't for me. The second game, PS2, was what was it called? Uh, no, actually, forget that game. It was Black Ops.
FIFA
Black
12.
Ops. The
Black Ops.
no,
Wasn't
Black
it
Ops was
PS3?
actually PS3. That was
Yeah.
PS3. That was PS3. Okay, PS2 was yeah, FIFA
Fi-
actually.
FIFA
FIFA
12. FIFA 12.
fifth, not FIFA
Or
12,
10, 10
not
maybe.
FIFA 12. The one FIFA '09. FIFA '09 was the one. FIFA actually, yeah. FIFA '09 with Akina Drogba and
Was it
Anelka
Rooney in the
and Nini
in the front
and Rooney.
page? Rooney
That
in, yeah.
that was it. That FIFA '09 defined
Sure.
PS2 kabisa. Yeah,
Isn't that
that
it
was
was
it.
Rooney and Ronaldo on the cover, right? I think that one. I mean, not
It
Ronaldo,
was
Ronaldinho.
probably no. It was
Yeah.
Rooney.
Or
It
was
was
that?
just Rooney. Ama.
It was both, right? Or was it just one Rooney? Oh,
It was both of them. Ama. Okay,
I think there was
Yeah.
one,
interesting,
right?
interesting. Okay. Damn.
Yeah.
And then PS3 was Call of Duty Black Ops. That
Well, that's
was
when the
my
age of
defining game.
zombies started.
That was amazing. That game was amazing. Then for PS4 was Nini Witcher, The Witcher. That was
Yes.
the defining Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 was my defining game. PS5, what do I say? What do I say? That
Marvel
because
Rivals.
that's now. That's a tough. For me, that one I haven't decided. Let it finish. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let it finish.
Let it finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you've mentioned Witcher, because I didn't, I wasn't gaming that much like before. I started with PS2, but I mostly used to play FIFA. I didn't really play first player games, which is why I'm not that good at like first player games, but I'm like pretty okay at FIFA. But I've recently started because I had the PS4 for a while, and I inherited some games from you, Nathan, if you remember.
Oh yeah, you do have my games.
Yeah.
I
so
stopped
so
caring
I,
since gone.
yeah. So I just recently started playing Witcher, but it's so hard. Like,
Play on the
Uh,
easiest difficulty, man.
yeah, you can enjoy the
no,
story
I
of
mean,
Witches.
I put it like normal, but I was playing Uncharted before, and Uncharted was so much easier than
Yeah.
Witcher.
Witcher, you have to deflect constantly. That's how it becomes easy. Just constant deflections.
Yeah, there was like so many the controls. Like in Uncharted, you just pick up the gun
Shoot.
and aim and shoot. But this one, there's like 10 different, not 10, like 10 different, like 5 different spells, and
Yeah.
then like you
You
have to
have
do
to
like so many
understand the
things.
monsters as well.
Actually,
Yeah.
And each one
Uncharted
has
4
weaknesses.
is a really good game. It's a really good game.
Actually, since Rajat,
Yeah.
like you said, like you played that. What's your like experience in gaming? I'm sure there's some
I
here and
like
there.
it. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm as like passionate about it as you guys, but like I like it to a certain degree as like a time pass and for fun. And to be honest, like maybe it's because I've not played that much before. I mainly like FIFA, but like on a multiplayer level, like if you play like online or like with friends. But the thing is, I'm not good at like first player games like Call of Duty. I remember when it was during COVID, when I joined like Warzone with you guys. You remember for a bit?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so bad. Like I just it was so painful just to like sit there. I
Raju,
didn't even know how to
don't
start
feel
game.
bad. That's how I feel every time we
Yeah.
play. Every time we play, me I realize I'm always the worst player, but it's okay.
Uh,
It's okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It takes
Yeah.
time,
that
like to
was
get to
that was
learn things.
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But playing
Interesting.
GTA was fun. We used to play me, Nathan, David, and Neil do
Yeah.
GTA heists. That was
It's
fun.
fun.
And I agree with what you were saying at the beginning. Nathan gets so angry because Nathan's always carrying the team. No one's good at the thing. Is no one is as good as Nathan, at least from the four of us. Nathan was always like pioneering the team.
Yeah, because I put all this effort, right, and no one is matching the effort. So I'm just like,
The thing is, no one
it's
can
fun.
match the effort. Like no
Nathan,
one.
when we played God of War, the two of us,
Yeah.
I got more boss skills than you in God of
Oh,
War,
are you sure?
the first one. Yes, I
Okay.
know.
Okay, but
There was.
do you have more deaths than me though?
Do you remember Dowdy? Okay, yeah, I
Dowdy,
got
oh
more
yeah,
deaths than you. But who killed Dowdy? It was me.
yeah. Dowdy, David was hard. Yeah,
That's
he's a basically
hilarious.
huge fire giant, which I kept on dying to, and then Ryan
It was a real
came and killed him.
David, actually. That's true.
You know, after listening to all these answers, it's crazy how gaming has changed so much from I think when all of us played as when we were younger. It used to be a lot cheaper for one thing. You used to be able to play split screen, so three people in the same room, you enjoy it, be it four people, all those types of games. And I think back then people focused on, sorry, game developers focused on the story a lot more because there was no such thing as money making online as much as there is nowadays. So now, like, the games are just crazier. You see a lot of people spending money. You've seen all the stories of like kids taking their mom's credit cards, going on Fortnite and shopping for everything. uh, I have bought a few skins as well, but it's done.
A few,
A lot.
a
A
few,
lot.
You
a
know,
few
Yes.
skins, a
literally,
few skins.
literally 30 minutes ago, Nathan sends me a message saying, "Oh, dude, you should buy this skin."
It's
I'm
like
like,
six. It's a six skin, and you play Loki a lot.
"Yeah, so
Why
I'm
not
not gonna buy a
flare it?
skin.
Why not flare it when you get MVP? Whatever.
I just don't need it. I just don't need it."
And also, there's a comment Haider made. earlier when he was saying that the gaming probably negatively affected his
100%.
studies. I completely disagree with that.
Really?
I completely disagree with that because I feel gaming, depending on what type of gaming you're doing, it has a major impact on what you can learn. No, honestly,
I
honestly,
I
if you think
agree.
about it,
I agree. But like everything else, Rishi, if you do too much of anything, it can really mess up other parts of your life, which is true for everything, not just gaming. Like
yeah, that's
drugs,
hundred
every
percent. That's now and Ryan. That I hope that answers
oops.
your question as
You're
to
cutting
why
that
also
part out,
Hader.
is it?
No, we're
Wow, we
keeping it in.
went to
But
me.
I hope that answers
What you
Ryan's
say?
question of why Hader was in the anime episode. Oh, you see that wisdom
Ah,
right there.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Now I see.
Exactly.
Now I understand. I
But
understand.
look, the some games like historical games, which actually make a difference. You've played the most recent game Wukong, talking about mythology. There's a game I used to play, Dynasty Warriors, which is based on China, China and Three Kingdoms. Like you're looking at a lot of historical games, and then you can play brain rot games as well, like Candy Crush and Temple Run and Clash of
And
Clans
and
on
Miku,
phone games,
Miku.
and and a lot of other games like that. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean,
Yeah, but no, Rishi, you're right though. It is a bit sad that because of the move to competitive gaming, there's less emphasis on games with like a good story, and now they're just more rare because it's less lucrative, I think. Um, hmm.
But I feel like if there's a good story, like it becomes something bigger than like just a game. Like in
That's
Last of
true.
Us, for example,
That's true.
like a very very good story, which is now like it's bigger than just a game now, right? It's like a
Yeah,
series and
That's
this
true. You're
one's
right. If the story is
Uncharted
good,
as well.
yeah,
yeah, and a Witcher had his own series. Well, it was from books and
Hmm.
then games and
also
series.
Fallout.
Fallout was
Mhm.
also really good. Yeah, so
To
it
be
Exactly.
like
fair,
expands on
they're adapting a
entertainment and
lot.
art.
Yeah, they're adapting a lot of series, movies from games, which are working out. Some are quite bad, some are really good.
Actually, on that
But
point, are they doing well with the adapting?
Arcane
What
is
do you guys
incredible.
think?
There are good, really good adaptations. I'm
Yeah.
not saying all. Majority of adaptations are very mediocre, but the ones that hit and they follow the art form that was presented in the games or where it's from have been really good. So like the recent ones like Fallout, Last of Us is a bit like the first season of Last of Us was really good.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
but
Um,
The second
gaming
season,
generally is something I recommend everyone should at least try one day because there's a game for every type of person. You can't just categorize someone who games as being completely antisocial and pathetic.
exactly. I have that's a good meaning. It's like it's the same thing. Like everyone should watch at least Attack of Titan once in their life. So
This is
Yeah,
not
I'm
but
about
gonna
anime,
anime,
but
though.
anime
This is
no,
not
no,
about
okay,
but
anime.
it's the truth.
Ryan,
It's the truth. I just need to put
Oh,
that
okay,
out
okay.
there.
There is an
Ryan
Attack on
is
Because
Titan game as well, I guess.
Ryan
uh,
is salty about not being on the anime podcast, trying to slot in
exactly.
any
Hey,
anime
I've looked
Oh,
at you.
that's
wait, there was
I've
an
that's
looked
where
anime.
that
at
was
you.
coming from.
There
That's
was
where
a,
that was coming from.
wait,
I
there was
think
an
I was
anime
in
podcast.
yeah, and I think I was an incredible guest.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
You know what? We'll put up a poll. We'll ask our guests what did they think of Hater out of 10. We can give a rating
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them to interact with us.
Yeah, well, most of the people know me, so they're obviously going to give me a bad rating.
I think Ryan will give you a 1 out of 10.
I'll
Okay.
put the 10 bad ratings. It's okay. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's I think the adaptations have become better uh as the years have gone by. Uh, so I feel like we'll get good games, except for like games like Halo. That was a bad adaptation. I think we're good. We're good in adaptations actually.
Yeah,
Another aspect with gaming, and let me reference an anime, then I'll sum up the reference. So there was one Chinese anime called The King's Avatar, and that was based completely on immersive gaming, where you're sitting the audience is sitting in the stadium, and the entire game being played competitive, two teams, is being broadcasted in 3D in the stadium, so you can immerse yourself as an audience member into what is being played. and what's happening on the field. It'll be interesting to see if that does happen. I'm curious on everyone's opinions, all of your opinions on
Or
that.
does the
So
audience wear like AR goggles or
no,
something?
no, no. So the audience can see what's happening live. I don't know, like it's created from.
Oh.
You guys can probably know the answer to this. Where are we heading in terms of the gaming, augmented reality, and those types of things. So I'm curious on your opinions on that. We can go first.
I
Nathan
mean,
is ready to give an answer.
Okay, so I'm a bit skeptical about AR and VR, typically because of currently, hardware is way too expensive for just the general public to acquire, and also the games developed for them are nowhere as good currently as non VR games. Um, I would see in the future if it does, like if it gets more popular in terms of it's more cheaper to acquire VR headsets and stuff. It may get more popular, like people interacting with each other, like multiplayer games. It will happen in some point in the future, but right now I don't see it anytime soon. Maybe like five
you
or
can you
ten
can you give
years.
a reference? I don't know if you've heard of the anime Sword Art Online. If you can give that type of a reference.
I've not watched Sword Art
So
Online.
we're wearing the headset, and then people immerse themselves, like they're just chilling on the bed. They wear the helmet. They go into that gaming sense.
It's a bit like that movie. I'm sure you guys have seen it.
Ready Player One.
Yeah, that's the one.
That one, yeah.
actually,
Yeah,
even more
it's
than
more like a
that,
metaverse kind of thing.
mm, even more than that, I don't think people will go in that direction. Because when you
Yeah,
look at, let's see, like Pokemon Go. Do you guys remember that game that came out?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, it came out. It was super popular, and then there were a lot of people who are going out and looking at trying to find those Pokemons and all that stuff. So if you implement a multiplayer system into that, they never did that. They never implemented the multiplayer system into that. So if you implement a multiplayer system, it's possible because people were going out just looking for Pokemon. So
yeah.
why
It's
not
goal
people
orientated.
battling each other? It'll have been thing
No, wait,
actually.
but I thought you said like you don't see this thing taking off, or we're not moving in this direction.
No, in terms of just like having a VR and you chilling and relaxing in this virtual world is not going to be that great unless there's like what Ryan said, a goal oriented type of gameplay system where people are competing or like doing stuff to game basically. Uh, in terms of interaction socially, I don't think it will happen that much. Maybe if another COVID happens, it will take off. But people generally just want to go outside and be more
We've had it now.
social.
Nathan has
Yeah,
said the next COVID is happening. We now know.
I don't know these things.
Okay, Haider, what do you think on that topic, Era?
Mm, not sure, actually. I think Nathan might be right. Like the hardware is expensive. Maybe it'll become cheaper. There needs to be like a selling point, you know. There needs to be like one game that's going to come out that's going to look great in trailers, and people are going to be incentivized to buy that VR headset. And it shouldn't be too pricey. Like it should be affordable for the general public. That game should look incredible, meaning it should be like, wow, this game is like oftentimes these consoles that come out, what sells them is the games. So there needs to be a game that's very like that looks really good.
But you know that
And
came out already. That
Which
came
one's
out
like
with
wait,
Half-Life Nini, Half-Life Alex.
yeah, but it's
People
not.
were
What is
It's
waiting
this?
only
for
one thing,
Half-Life
right?
3 so much. So when Half-Life Alex came out, the, it was based on that VR console.
Yeah.
And
So Half Life. Then I
yeah.
explain what Half Life is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Explain it.
Okay,
So like
Half-Life
how?
is one of the most popular games that has ever come out. So people were waiting for Half-Life 3, and then Valve released Half-Life Alex, which is not Half-Life 3, but it was close to that. And people were waiting so much for this game. So but then they said, to buy this game, you have to buy this new VR console. So that was the problem with it. But then it still sold so well with that, but
It,
not to the point where everyone was now using VR.
yeah. So it was only one thing that got it going, which is Half Life Alex, and Half Life is basically like a post-apocalyptic world where it's like a whole single player story game where you're in a post-apocalyptic world just surviving and doing the storyline uh, that's there in the game. Where you're in VR, you're interacting with everything with your hands and um, essentially your whole like visual and your hands, just like interacting with the world, doing stuff, carrying guns and stuff.
It was the
Um,
best VR game ever, actually.
it
It,
was very
it
interactive, yeah.
yeah, very interactive.
But there hasn't been any games after that that were as good, so it didn't actually continue that well. So yeah,
Okay, okay. So
depends on the
Okay,
games.
Haider.
before we move on to the next topic, I don't know, Rajat, if you have any on
Oh
that.
no,
Okay,
Haider, I
I
interrupted
ha-
Haider.
No,
Even
no, no, bro. Like you, I had nothing else to say. Really. Yeah.
okay.
no, I mean, since we're on this topic of like evolution, like let's talk about, let's say, for example, like the consoles that we have. So, I mean, I think the idea of each generation of console is to make the gaming experience like much better. So, I mean, you guys have, like played, let's say for PlayStation, you guys have played it basically like every generation of the console. Like, what would you say is like the the features of each console that is making the experience much better for you?
Okay, so for me at least, for PS1 was a defining generation from going from 2D to 3D. Essentially, worlds can be designed and played on and interacted in 3D. Before that was mainly 2D games on like the GameCube or um, like the Nintendo DS, or yeah, Super Nintendo. I was mainly most of them. Some very rarely it was a 3D game, but when the PS1 came, it was mainly just 3D games. That was quite good, like Crash Bandicoot, for example. And then PS2 just took it off to a whole new level. Essentially, it's introduced online play. It wasn't as good, but it started it. PS2 had a lot of you could develop a lot of games very fast for it, so it was like a exponential increase in terms of what games could be played on it. And it had really
And
good
Nathan,
games
Nathan,
on
before
PS2.
before you move on to the next console, just the two consoles I want you to just place in that evolution. One is the Game Boy, and the other one is the Wii. And you can also
Ooh,
PSP and the PSP as well. So those, where are
okay.
we fitting those in?
The PSP was such a nice little. It had such a nice weight to
Uh,
it. You know, it was so nice and heavy.
yeah, so initially it was the Game Boy that came out really early, and I think if you watch, there was a movie about it about Tetris, and then it came out with the Game Boy. It's quite a good movie. You should watch it. There's an famous actor on it. I forgot his name, but it was a defining moment where it was a handheld was really convenient for a lot of people to use and play because it's on the move. Um, and then the PS1 came out, and then 3D games blew up, and PS2 it was more like an exponential increase of what PS1 did, but better graphics and gameplay. Um, yeah, and then the PSP came out, and that was like literally every in school, literally everyone had it. It was everywhere, and
It
it was quite good. Yeah, here you can say
it
about it.
looked so cool. It was like a very cool looking device. The weight was incredible. It had some really cool games. Crisis Core, incredible game. I would play that
You
game
played
today and
Crisis.
still enjoy.
You played Crisis
Crisis
on
Core.
PSP. How did you
It
do
was
that
so
Core.
good, Ryan. It was incredible. What a game! That was
on
such a sad
PSP?
ending.
That
Yeah.
that okay. Wow.
Let me
Damn.
let
I
me
mean,
just say, if anyone
Because
who is from Sony or Microsoft is listening to this podcast or knows someone who is from there, this man here is a salesman right here, Haider Rasool. You can hire him.
Yeah, he's the best spokesperson for any game or any gaming console.
not any. I don't like all of them, but yeah, I
All
like a
right,
few.
don't mention the one you don't like in case
I won't.
Okay. But I
Yeah,
must say,
carry
like
on, Nathan.
PSP, I feel like it was ahead of its time. Like it was, I mean, obviously like the weight and stuff, but like even ergonomically, it was so nice to
It
hold
was,
and
it was.
play. It was
It
very
was
smooth and
yeah, it was
easy.
first portable device that could play
that's
3D
true.
games.
So oddly enough,
And
oddly
competed
enough,
with the
I
DS.
skipped the PSP. I started with Game Boy, and then the one after that I used was the Wii.
Yeah,
But
and the
that's the
Wii
weird
was
thing. Why did so many people they skip the PSP when
For
it was
me,
like the first Nintendo?
it
What
was
happened?
you know, even I didn't own it. Funnily enough,
Yeah.
it was just like there were so many consoles coming out. I just couldn't afford it. I was too young, and I had already like bought the PS2 or PS3 or whatever, and
Yeah,
this
I
PSP.
think same boat as well
How well you
on
can
that.
Yeah.
please your
Because
parents.
it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Hader,
Because okay, yeah,
yeah,
that's
Hader
true.
didn't
That's
have the
true.
You know.
Exactly, I didn't have the
Oh, okay, yeah.
grades.
He does. That's true. But when I think about when I played Zelda on that Nintendo Switch,
DS or Switch.
yeah,
Hmm.
Nintendo Switch, I was like, this feels like the PSP.
Hmm.
Why did the
They brought back.
PSP fail so badly when the Nintendo Switch has the success is
Mm,
so crazy.
PSP never failed though. It was quite successful.
It it
It
wasn't as
it
successful. It didn't reach
y- y-
the heights
yeah,
that
but
Nintendo Switch has
yeah,
reached.
that's because more people were playing video games. That's probably why.
Right now, you're
And it
saying
was
right
yeah
now.
now yeah, and it was during
No,
COVID.
I think
but
PSP also didn't have Pokemon, right? Pokemon was a big selling
Yeah.
point for all Nintendo
okay, yeah,
products.
that's true.
Yeah,
That's
so
true.
DS,
The games
Switch,
actually,
Pokemon,
the IP
yeah,
actually might make sense. Yeah,
Nintendo
Mario
the
Kart.
IP was
Yeah,
has really iconic IPs, and
because
what brought I
me, I
think
remember playing Spider-Man 2 in my PSP inside my bed for like 3 hours
oh,
until the battery dies, and then I I go charge it, then I play it again inside my bed.
the good old days, man. The good old
Good
days.
old days, but
yeah, to your parents find you like, why is the
ah,
lights on in the middle of the night? Why are you asleep?
yeah. Well, what are you doing?
Okay, so you've reached the PSP. Then
PSP,
after
and
that,
then after that was the PS3 era, essentially moving from SD games to high definition games, essentially like the 1080p games, which games look really sharp and crisp, and essentially the same thing as what PS2 had. But
but let me ask
now,
you: the PS3 was the same time as Xbox 360, and so
yeah.
like we get the diverging in terms of brands, different types of
So
producers of consoles now.
yeah, so there was the Xbox, the original Xbox that came out. That didn't sell that well. It was compared to PS2, and the PS2 was more popular. And then when technology just progressed, Xbox 360 came out, and that came actually before the PS3. So it kind of was in the lead and had more better games in the start than the PS3 had. Halo and Gears of War, Call of Duty came out on it as well, the initial ones.
Classics.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that sold well because it was the start of multiplayer. And multiplayer kind of sold a lot of the games on Xbox. Um, yeah. PS3 also had free online, but it wasn't as prevalent, as successful as Xbox. Um,
So
But
let me ask you. Whilst oh sorry, Heather, go.
it was quite 50-50 though. I feel like the
in
360 and the PS3 were very like competing, very like it was a very close competition.
in the end of the life cycle of that console generation was very 50-50 because PS3 had a weird start they didn't have that many great games in the start. Later on, it had like Uncharted came out and then Last of Us, and yeah, so that really pushed forward its thing. Also, it had free online play, so it was more accessible to people compared to the Xbox where you had to pay for online,
Yeah.
kind of how it
Yeah,
is now.
the change came in when Xbox One came out and PS4 came out. Like
Yeah.
Xbox One, their priorities were just wrong, Kabisa.
Yeah,
They
I
were
agree with that.
looking, yeah,
100% agree with that.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so that's the next generation afterwards, after PS3 and Xbox, where Xbox kind of prioritized the Xbox One machine as just an entertainment, where they were pushing for like Netflix and more movie watching rather than just games. And the community became so huge at that time, and they didn't like it. And PS4 was just focusing on
because
games and game generation.
are you seeing this guy fighting with a mosquito over here?
Please note, while recording, during recording, I'm in Kenya, so expect mosquitoes. But
I'm also in Kenya.
I'll spray you as well. Now, let me
Okay,
let me
so
ask you.
yeah.
Whilst this entire evolution of consoles was going on, we did have computer gaming on the side,
Yeah.
and that
So
how did that change exactly? Because you're still using a computer gaming like throughout. The console is the same ish. You can expand on that, all of you.
So
yeah, you can
I
go.
think I think the main advantage of like PC gaming was the FPS. So FPS stands for frames per second. and on console it's quite capped. I think it's 60 frames per second on the modern day consoles. I think in the olden days it was 30 FPS, whereas for
Yeah.
PC it was always like 120. And I remember my friend, the one who got me into gaming, always like moved towards PC gaming because he just loved the frames per second.
Hey, sorry, just so just for like a easy explanation, FPS frames per rate, like what does that do in for like listeners who don't understand that concept?
So imagine you're seeing like it's almost I'll describe this in an anime using animation, I guess. Like say you've got this guy running and you've got three pictures of him running, and then you've got this animation going of him running 3 frames. Imagine like having 20 more pictures in between. It's going to seem way more fluid, and you're going to be able to it's just going to be more frames per second. I know that's not that probably doesn't help, but it's just going to be easier. It's just going to be a nicer viewing, I guess. Nathan, do you want to help me?
Yeah, so essentially frames per second, what Haider said, you're seeing more scenes. Like the scenes are seen more fluidly.
Hmm.
There's no gaps between the times between each frame. So it's much more easier on the eyes, and when you're interacting with the game as well, it's more fluid, it's more responsive. In competitive games, you want to have high frame rates because you want to be more responsive to, like, say you're fighting an enemy, you want that more responsiveness. When you go to 30 frames per second, it's a bit more, you'll feel like it's more laggy, because the frames haven't caught up to what you're actually seeing.
Yeah.
So you can adjust to it, um, because essentially we see movies at what, 24 to 30 frames anyways. Um, but when it comes to gaming, right now 120 is like frames per second is the golden spot when it comes to like
Actually, on that point of
competitive.
movies,
Yeah,
uh, like there are movies that have come out at 60 frames per second. Your eyes feel weird when you watch them. They're always like bad movies. Your eyes don't like that 60 frame per second, but in gaming specifically, it's helpful for like how the reaction time. So it's a good thing. It's a in gaming specifically. It's
yeah.
I don't think in any other media it's good actually.
It in lower frames, it's much more cinematic. You get more cinematic feels to it. That's why a lot of single player games kind of kind of go into the 30 frames per second region when multiplayer games don't really do that. Also, to visualize it, you need to actually see it yourself. It's very hard to explain it in words. Um, I mean, you can look at YouTube videos, for example. There's like, you can go to 30 FPS videos or 60 FPS videos. You can see the difference in
But
those.
Nathan, what if someone has a computer that can't reach 60 frames per second? What do they do?
I mean, it's just something you have to invest money into, and I guess to experience.
Yeah. But, hmm.
And then what about let's go? What about then between PS4 and then PS5? I think what you say is like the biggest difference.
So, what the PS4 had from the PS3 was essentially how easy the graphics were amazing, and the essentially it was like more focused on gameplay. When the PS5 came out, it was that 10x plus they introduced a controller that had haptic feedback, where if you had so there was more interactions with I would say the controller has a lot of features in terms of vibrations and small trigger functions. Where say you're playing a shooter game, you can feel the resistance. A lot of people don't like that when it comes to competitive because it slows you down, but it adds to single player experiences. For example, the mosquito.
It's also got ray tracing, right, Nathan?
This guy
Yeah,
is expert. Okay.
yeah. Also, let's talk about ray tracing here. So ray tracing is a really cool graphics feature that has just come up because it is very hard to do it with old graphics cards that wasn't there before AI. Essentially, rendering realistic lighting in video games, where light actually bounces off objects and reflects. The reflections are more realistic rather than just points of light that the developers place that look kind of okay, and then they have to play shadows, but they don't fully. before computation wasn't available for that to actually render realistically. Now you
You
can get
mean like
realistic
how you mean
reflections.
like how Haider looks right now?
Yeah, like
We can't even see his hair. So
What the hell, man? Yes, you can, can't you?
there's no ray tracing on here, unfortunately.
Is it
Like,
that blurry?
Yo, it's off, bro. Yo, yo.
I mean, it's just like it's a bit dark in your room, I guess.
Hmm.
But
But yeah,
yeah, to
continue.
go back to it, uh, ray tracing is a form of like graphical improvement in terms of how is how it adds immersiveness and realisticness to a game. You don't need it, obviously. At the end of the day, a game just has to be fun to play. If it's not fun, it's not going to sell. Majority of the time, unless it's like
Because
unless it
if
has
you
a
look,
wide reach, I
yeah,
guess.
you look like one of the best-selling games, Zelda Breath of the Wild. That game has no like graphical integrity to it. It's
It's not
simply just
integrity.
gameplay. It
Yeah, it's like a
It's
cartoon.
yeah,
yeah,
it's
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 just a
not as a
cartoon.
yeah.
Yeah,
You don't need
is
amazing graphics. You need really good art style
yeah.
when it comes to portraying the graphics. Graphics can help, like bring it, flesh out the art, um, and that's like quite good when it comes to selling a game or how it will perform well.
Yeah.
Underlyingly, it's the gameplay, and then I would say the art style, and then the graphics when it comes to how good a game can sell or will do.
Yeah, it's yeah. Fundamentally, I think the gameplay needs to be good. I think the story, if the story is good, then that's like a big plus point. But again, not fundamental. Uh, yeah, art style, as Nathan was saying.
Yeah. An example for this could be like Elden Ring. When you look into it quite well, graphics are not super like flashy. The art style is amazing. It's like an art. It's like a picturesque painting of like an oil painting. But on top of the gameplay is just S tier. It's like the most satisfying like types of games you can play, even though it's like super challenging. But it has so many tools for you to overcome the challenges, which I love. And yeah, right now, Elden Ring would be my most like favorite game of this generation when it comes to PS5. Yeah,
It's a good game. It's a more than
Actually, yeah. Since
Sekiro.
since 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 Nathan said like his favorite game, that is his favorite game. What is your favorite game of all time to each of you, including Rajat? Your options are short, but still, there's one there's one favorite game.
shit.
Hmm. Good question. Rajat, you go first, man.
Yes, Ryan.
What's your favorite game?
And you have to give your
That's the one.
Right.
you have to
Yeah,
give
like
your
mine.
reasons. You have to give your
Uh,
reasons too. Yeah.
I'll say mine is like FIFA in general, like the franchise, because that's the game I'm most good
FIFA.
at. That's why.
I mean, it's a really good
Yeah.
one.
Wait,
Everyone
okay.
watches
Yeah.
football. It's
Which
Yeah.
specifically which FIFA?
Oh, specifically, I would have to go like yeah, what you said before, like FIFA 10, FIFA 9. Like those were the. I mean, obviously, it's not as good as in terms of like gameplay and stuff, as
But it
the
was
latest ones. But like, there's a
the
different,
experience.
different vibe. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
you
Different
had
the
mentioned
experience.
experience.
FIFA 12 earlier. I think that was also my favorite game.
Yeah, FIFA 12
It's so
also
good.
was.
Wait,
Actually,
Rajat,
FIFA was
you said
so
you
good
said you were
back
good at
then.
that, right? You were good at FIFA, huh?
I mean, I'm okay. I'm not bad. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I can beat
Hader
you
wants to
either for
challenge
No,
you.
sure.
no, because I beat you that day, so I was just wondering.
When have
Don't,
you?
don't wait, Haider,
Oh,
As
no,
don't
Vishal.
listen to Rajat. He said the same thing when we were playing NBA, and then I beat.
no, no, even NBA.
Yeah,
No,
I
no, no.
beat
Let me
his
tell you.
Uh,
ass.
Let me tell you. Rajat did that for respect, that he doesn't, so that you don't befriend him if he destroys you completely. That's why.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
god. Oh
exactly,
wow. Okay.
exactly. Just wanted to give you some hope.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah. Ryan, what's yours
For me, favorite game, Kabisa,
all time?
Yeah,
all time.
Candy
Uh
Crush.
that game is good. By the way, you guys you know it, but it's very fun. It's very fun. For me, the best game, uh, I'd have to give it to Nini. Black Myth Wukong. That
yeah.
game
Nice.
Oh,
is amazing. That
that's a
game
recent game as
is
well.
the It's the best game I've ever played
It's
in
very
my
fun.
whole life. In PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, whatever, PS5 era, that game has everything. It is amazing. Everyone should play it. It's like Attack on Titan. Everyone should at least play it once, even if it's not your genre. Just play it
It's
once. Yeah,
it's very high action and like really good
it's
cinematics to it.
everything. It
It's
gives you everything. Yeah.
and aura farming. There's a lot of aura farming in it.
Ah,
It's
yeah. The
nice.
aura is good. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
that's good.
Interesting,
I mean,
interesting. Yeah.
Nathan.
Nathan, yeah.
For me, is
Wait,
the Witcher.
competitive and story. You have to give one for each.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. Oh, for am I also okay?
Yeah.
No,
For
no, 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 no.
competitive, it's
Okay, fine. Do both then.
okay. For me, competitive Fortnite, because we always play Fortnite, because it always rebuilds and it's
I think
always
I
a
just
new
lost some
thing.
respect for you. I'm sorry.
It's always a new thing, man. How long have we been playing Fortnite? We played Fortnite even before we
No,
knew
but
I
Hayden
we
literally
never
never
played with
joined you
us.
guys. Never
Hayden
joined you
never
guys.
played
Oh,
Fortnite.
Much to
sorry,
my,
sorry,
I'm really happy about that.
sorry,
By the way.
sorry.
To be fair, Fortnite is not competitive, so
But yeah,
it's a bit hard
sorry.
to say.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. If you're going competitive, then okay.
You can't take it back. Man.
Uh,
It is competitive, Nathan.
okay.
Sorry.
No, it is. Is it?
But we never
It
played
is.
If it is,
competitive.
then yeah, Fortnite. Me, I'll go with Fortnite then,
All
because
right.
we
So you
played
got
it
Wukong.
consistently since we've been in uni. Yeah,
You got a story. You got
Wukong,
Wukong and competitive. You got Fortnite. Rajat,
Wukong and
what's your
Fortnite.
competitive then? If you have played competitive, would it still be FIFA?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just I mean, FIFA would be the competitive, right? It wouldn't be the story. I'd say like story wise, I'd say like Last of Us. I really like Last of Us.
Okay,
Beautiful.
okay, that's nice. That's cool.
Last of
Yeah,
Us is good. It's a good one.
Last of
yeah.
That's
Us
a
and
good one.
I mean,
That's
I've
a
not
good
played
one.
many, but from the ones that I played, like Last of Us.
That's a good one.
so
That's a
Nathan,
good
what about your
choice.
side for story and then competitive?
Yeah, for story, I would say Witcher 3. It had literally everything that I wanted from a game in terms of the
Every
storytelling.
sides to yeah,
Every side story was like so deeply written.
it,
It was like
it was
so well
crazy.
done. And
What?
then there's different endings to that game. Okay, and the first time I played it, I got the bad ending, and I actually cried. I was like, not cry. I teared up. It was like me tearing up to Iron Man dying, kind of thing.
You're not cutting this part out, brother.
Yeah, whatever.
Come on.
Yeah, and then I
Oh wow.
replayed it, and then the other endings were so well crafted as well. The good endings, at least. And then the
Okay.
DLC and expansion it was S tier on top of that. Like you're it there was three different types of worlds you could explore: gritty war torn areas, to one area was like full of like like vampires and France, and like people love selling wine and vineyards every like south of France.
Do you know that
It was
DLC?
so beautifully like written and crafted, and then on top of the gameplay was really good. You're fighting monsters that have their own unique characters to it, and you have to be strategic to how to fight them. I love
Yeah.
that aspect of RPG.
And so, what about your competitive?
Competitive, it's a bit tough because I played a lot of Warzone before. In terms like right now, it's Marvel Rivals. I'm just enjoying it
No, no,
competitively.
no. What's your
If
all-time favorite competitive game?
All time.
Was it the one in the womb
the I would say Warzone, to be honest, because I played so much of it. It just
during COVID time? But then,
yeah, and I was really like in terms of playing competitively, I was sweating much more than I'm sweating now in Rivals. Mainly because I was unemployed back then. Yeah,
I mean,
okay,
COD
that's
is
nice.
always
That's nice.
a good competitive. It's always a good
yeah.
competitive. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
What about you,
So, Haider,
Hader? The
So yeah,
nonsense.
story first.
You
story
let
first.
me tell you just before Hader says, you'll hear the worst opinions over here. Just this is a
Oh
precursor.
my god,
let's
that's
hear.
Worst,
gaslighting.
worst
Let's hear.
opinions
Let's
or
hear.
what?
Let's hear. Let's hear.
Don't
Let's
No,
worry,
hear.
don't
no, I
worry.
didn't. I didn't hear you. Worst opinions or what?
Don't
No.
worry.
It's
You
okay. It's
block out
okay.
the
No
You just
noise.
say. Just
Oh my
say. Just
god,
say.
I don't feel like saying it anymore. Okay,
Haider,
fine.
block out the hate.
I'm joking. I'm joking. No
I
worries.
know, I know.
He's not.
So I was going to say Last of Us actually, but then Raja just stole my answer, so I'm not going to say that.
Oh, but if
But
it is, it is.
yeah, Last of Us was incredible. Witcher was awesome because you could make choices in that game, and that could really dictate how the story went.
That's true.
But I think I'm going to go with I think I'm gonna go with Crisis Core, Final Fantasy Crisis Core on the PSP. It's even out on the PS5.
Crisis.
Oh wow.
Wait, Final Fantasy Crisis Core over Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy VII was really good too, but I didn't
Really?
play it actually. That's just my personal preference. I've heard really good things about Final
You've not
Fantasy.
played Final Fantasy 7?
I did, but I didn't play the original version. I played the remake.
Did you not play the new one, the continuation?
No,
Or
I didn't play. I haven't played that
It's
yet.
You
really good.
picked a Final Fantasy out of 7,
I
14,
was.
15, and Crisis Core. What do you
I thought
mean?
Crisis Core was amazing. I thought it was just really good.
Of
I
all...
love. I love
Okay.
Zack. Zack was so cool.
Okay.
Cloud, it was just.
I mean, if you play
It's to-
the new
to
Final
each
Fantasy,
their own.
they're there in the game. It just adds more to their story.
Yeah. So the new Final Fantasy builds on all of that. But I liked even Final Fantasy VII had an amazing story. So I watched the whole thing on YouTube.
It's the best. It's the
It's
best.
so good. It's so good.
It
It's so sad.
even
Yeah.
the movie Advent. Okay, did you watch the Advent Children
I did.
movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a sad, tragic story, and the characters are so good.
How?
And the
So,
remake, the
Why
graphics
would
are
you
incredible.
choose Crisis Core?
I thought
Why?
the soundtrack actually, Ryan, the soundtrack in Crisis Core was so good. It's the same world, Ryan. Come on, I might as well say Final Fantasy VII.
It is. Yeah,
Okay,
it is Final
fine,
Fantasy
fine.
7.
It's okay.
essentially.
It's
It
okay.
is Final Fantasy VII.
To each their own. To each their own. To each.
The only reason,
Wow.
wait, it's the same thing, okay? But the only reason I said Crisis Core over Final Fantasy VII is because I didn't play Final Fantasy VII as a boy. Um, so that's why. But I thought both of them were incredible. Yeah.
That's a unique answer, I must say that.
I think
So
it's
what
a good
about
answer.
your competitive? What about your competitive answer?
These two,
Okay.
Rajat and Rishi,
These guys are
have
just
no
giving it to
idea.
me. I swear they're not
They
going to
have no
like
idea.
they're out for me today just because you brought me onto the animation podcast.
Let me
But,
give you a Nini. It's the equivalent of someone saying they like Naruto. No, not Naruto. They like the filler episodes in Naruto compared to Naruto
Fair enough.
itself.
That is so not
That's
true.
it.
That is true.
That's-
That
That
is true.
is so not true.
Yeah. Okay.
Crisis
I
Core
think,
is not a filler. Crisis Core is not a
look,
filler.
we will have an anime part 2
It's-
episode.
it's like-
we'll have
It's like
Crisis Core is so not a filler.
no, it's like liking God of War Ascension or the other God of War games compared to like.
Oh
1, 2,
yeah,
3.
God of War. That's a
Right.
perfect example. Exactly. God of War Ascension on the PSP compared to the actual God of Wars.
Like
Yeah,
God of War 3,
yeah, that's
Ragnarok.
true. That's
I
true.
don't agree, but
That's
sure.
a perfect it.
I think it's like that.
okay. Before Haider, what's your favorite competitive?
Favorite competitive? So I've played a lot of competitive games. I've played Rivals is fun. I'm thoroughly enjoying that. But since it's so new, I'm not going to say it.
It's fine.
Warzone, I enjoyed that. To be honest, I've played the competitive games. I've played them, enjoyed the most of the ones all my friends are playing. So it's
But
usually
that's been
that.
one that really, like Marvels, you don't sleep, you just play that. Like
I know it's
maybe
fun.
that.
No. I have to sleep now. But I'll tell you what though. Age of Empires is probably my favorite.
Oh,
Really? What about
Thoroughly
Dota?
enjoyed them.
But
Dota,
whenever we were
which
playing,
I like Dota.
what
I
happened?
was very good at Dota.
You played
Um,
Japan and then you disappeared. What the hell?
Played Japan.
Yeah, you played Japan like a few times and then you were constantly
Oh,
busy.
Age of Empires 2. Yeah, no, Age of Empires 4. I
Oh,
thoroughly
so
enjoyed
which
that.
one exactly? Oh, four exactly.
Yeah,
Okay,
Abbasid
so
Dynasty.
Abbasid,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, very nice. So those are your answers. I'll give mine very
Rishi,
quickly
what
as
about
well.
yours? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, story mode, Modern Warfare 2. That's for
Original.
me is the best. Yeah, the original. That's the best story mode. It's a whole war between Russia and US, and I think from one of the podcasts where I gave my answers of 3 people I would meet dead or alive, you can guess.
Let me ask: is that the one where you shoot everyone in the airport?
That is 2. That's
Yeah,
Modern
that's the
Warfare
one.
2.
Yeah, that's the one.
The story of that is very like well, the story is 2 and 3, so I guess I can consider it the bundle. And multiplayer, it would actually be Age of Empires 2.
Oh, okay. So we're on the same
Yeah.
page in that. But yeah, Modern
Age of
Warfare 2
Empires
was quite violent. So yeah, I can see where you get your violent tendencies from now.
Oh
I don't
my!
think it was just from Modern Warfare 2.
But that honestly, for my side, I think that's it. I don't know about Rajat and
Yeah,
any of you
lovely.
guys if there's something you want to really,
Actually,
you
I
know.
have one final thing to ask you guys. I don't know if it's applicable, but a few years ago, Microsoft bought Activision, which also owns Call of Duty. And do you
Hmm.
guys see that impacting any ways, and like the way the games and consoles are going?
Let me tell you about that. I've been following that thing for a while now.
Oh,
Uh,
really? You know, I did my master's final project on that, so I should have asked you
are
to
you
help me.
serious? Yeah.
Oh wow!
I am, yeah. I analyzed that. I mean,
I've
I
been.
didn't. I analyzed the acquisition
Wait,
basically.
what? Oh,
Do
okay.
you want to say something before I say?
No, no, no. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Okay. So me, I looked at that, and what I've seen in the acquisition process, I've seen like a lot of companies do this. Actually, it's just not Microsoft. They they
Sony does
acquire
it.
a company for a ton of money that it doesn't even make sense, because what was it, 64 billion? What is it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It's an astounding amount of money. There's no way you're going to make that money back. It's
It
just,
yeah.
it's about like having a monopoly on these things. But then
It was made. Yeah.
uh it's not really a monopoly when you look at it. It's just more of, they know Call of Duty is a sure bet. Even if they produce the worst thing, they're going to get
People will buy it.
the, yeah, people will buy it.
It will still
So
produce a
yeah,
lot of profit.
because they know the, specifically, it's not even about the brand of the of Call of Duty. It's about the mechanisms. They know that people like the shooting in Call of Duty. They know
It's,
that it's very satisfying, it's very gratifying. It gives you that. It
yeah, it's
is.
it's very
It
simple to pick up and very like
is very simple.
accessible.
It gives you, you feel very gratified to enter into it. So they know a lot of players will get into it. So
Yeah, it's also the brand name of Call of Duty. It produces like
exactly,
very popular games, and people will buy it because
exactly,
it's.
exactly.
But the acquisition, I believe, is mainly it's just competition with Sony. So Microsoft obviously owns Xbox. Sony has also like before that owned is owning a lot of other game developer companies. Recently, they bought I think From Software, or Bandai Namco, something like that.
Yeah,
And they had like Naughty Dog and Santa Monica that created God of War and uh, yeah, and Naughty Dog creating Last of Us and Uncharted. So it was basically okay. Microsoft has to like have exclusivity to it. Um, yeah, so it was mainly
it
a competition thing.
it's
To
but then that's here's the
yeah,
one thing
it's
I'm
very
thinking about that though,
the
is
acquisition.
why is Microsoft so worried? Like they have the Nini Game Pass, and so many people subscribe to it. They're going
Yeah,
to increase over time. Why are they trying to get there so quick?
the
Like it's
problem with the
a
Game
small,
Pass it doesn't make Xbox relevant. Like you can just buy a PC and use
but
Xbox Game Pass
that's
on
not the
that.
point. Them they're trying to get Game Pass. They don't care whether it makes Xbox relevant or whatever. They don't care about the hardware. The hardware has never been profitable. It's always they always lose money. Even PS, they lose money on hardware. It's
Yeah,
not about the hardware.
that's why PS
Yeah,
Plus is getting expensive. Just to
yeah. Man, I don't
I'm
know,
curious
but
on Rajat. What do you think of the?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I wanted to get your thoughts because I wanted to get it from like a gaming point of view because I don't really know how that affects from a gaming side. But yeah, I mean, I definitely do agree. I think the first thing was definitely like competition in terms of just being a bit more competitive against like Sony and Nintendo because I think console wise they are definitely lagging behind. But also, another part of it is just like because they can. Like, I mean, yeah, such a big company, like they can.
Yeah,
I feel like it's
it's
just
like
the
Disney.
hubris of. yeah, it's just a hubris of wanting to just grow and become bigger and just own stuff.
I think with the competition part, they've stopped with that. They're not doing the competition part anymore. They've that one, that they let go of that one. So
But
yeah,
I feel like also maybe they wanted to have a bit of, I don't know how it works, but I'm guessing if they own the company, so like they get licensing fees from the other, right? So they'll get licensing from Sony and Nintendo for, I don't know, not Nintendo, but like Sony from for COD, right?
Yeah,
So maybe they are. So I guess in that sense also like sort of benefit from
yeah,
getting
and
money
people,
from their competitors.
yeah, and if people subscribe to Game Pass, they'll get it for free at a lower cost compared to you have to buy the whole $50 or $60 game on the PS rather
Yeah.
than a
no,
small subscription on the
the
on
thing
Game
that
Pass just to play it. So
the
people would
thing
move
that
forward just to
always
that platform.
yeah the thing that always makes me wonder is how is Nintendo so popular still? Where their standards are so horrible for the consumer.
Pokemon, bro.
There's
It's like the
how,
wide range of how public it is. So it's like kids can play a lot of their games,
People and a
as
lot
well
of
as
it.
a lot of adults.
Yeah,
Like the
exactly.
Wii, for example, it was so good because everyone was playing it, like kids to adults, and it was not just gamers. Like everyone was playing it because it was.
but
So there's a
kids can
big
do that.
nostalgia. There's a big nostalgia aspect here. So people who grew up playing Pokemon want that back, and Nintendo sells that, and they're the only one selling that. Uh,
Yeah,
they own Pokemon. They own Mario. They own like so
they have
they're
their
the
own style of
yeah they have their own style, and they have an audience, and their audience can only come to them. So it's just lucrative, really. It's just
yeah.
in their best interest, and that's what's really kind of driving their business. Uh,
Although it's not
Nice.
as big as Microsoft or Sony, but
Nintendo
yeah.
is not
yeah, I don't know.
But right now, I don't think it's as big
okay in the
in terms of
gaming sector. It's
yeah.
not. You're telling
It's
me
not now.
Mario is not as big as any other thing. Mario
Uh,
or Zelda is not as big as any other thing.
uh, no, if you group up all of Nintendo's IPs
No,
together, it's not as
if
big as you group up everything in Microsoft or group up everything in Sony.
of course you can't do
That's what
that
I'm saying. I'm
because
not.
there is so
There's
much more
more.
library
Yeah,
for them.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
but
saying.
then it's a point that even the single things that they have are so much more successful than any other thing.
Yeah, we can wrap it up there. But I think definitely in the future we will have a second podcast, and like topics to see discuss will be how money is being implemented into gaming, like actual transactions within the game, cryptocurrency and blockchain. Also, a lot of going on there with gaming, a lot of AR, VR or in gaming, to see immersive gameplay. So there's a lot to look forward to, a lot, to expect, and it's going to be fun. Hopefully, it goes in the right direction and makes people more social rather than antisocial. But again, to be seen. As Nathan said and predicted, the next COVID will tell
I
where
didn't
it
say that.
takes us. But no. Honestly, from my perspective, thanks to all the technical people right here in our podcast for
Yes.
amazing details and sharing with us. So we
Okay.
will have anime part two. Maybe it will be a war. Maybe it will be
Yeah,
peaceful.
we'll
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 find
have
out.
Nathan. We'll have a Ryan and Haider on so they can
Can,
battle it out.
can I come just to watch?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, I think we'll have a watch party. We'll call a few more people.
Nice.
That is true. And actually, what we'll do in one of the podcasts to come, we will have an immersive one if that is possible, whereby viewers can comment questions they would like to ask during the podcast.
Yeah,
Something we might try.
sure,
We'll ask our
definitely
professional
on
and
the cards.
leader Rajat.
On the
But yeah,
cards.
that's it from me. That's it from me.
Yeah. All right. Nice. Well, thank you, boys, for your expertise. Very, very fun podcast. And yes, to everyone listening, hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Time to hunt
Yeah, but
mosquitoes. Goodbye.
Bye.